So do you ever feel like you're just not getting enough done? Well, I'm going to share with you the productivity system that I teach to every one of my clients. So let's check it out. To be very productive means more than being efficient, it also means being effective. This is why I've developed this system to be able to be very productive, not just for yourself, but everyone on your team. You're going to use this system with everyone. The key is in blocking your day. We want to block like activities with like activities. It sounds really simple, because it is, but very few people do it. So I want you to take the time to block out your day. And blocking out your day starts by looking at your entire week. And this happens on Sunday. It could be any time between Sunday morning and Sunday evening, but you're going to block out what you're going to achieve this next week. You're going to structure the week, and then you're going to set about what happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You're going to know what goes in those days. Since most of my audience at this time are people who are in the early stages of their agency, they're either a solo consultant or freelancer, or they've got a small team. This means if you're attempting to grow, you're going to be putting a lot of time into sales. So the first thing you're going to do is block off the first 3 hours of your day for sales activities. 3 hours a day. And they look like this. The first hour is dedicated to outreach. You're going to reach out to the people in your market that you want to work with. I've got a video on how to create your hit list for this outreach. It's in the description below. The next hour is dedicated to sales conversations. We're going to set appointments. We're going to have appointments set up so that we can talk to somebody, not necessarily trying to close them, but having a conversation that both parties understand is leading to a yes or a no about working together. And then the third hour is dedicated to follow-up. All the people that you've contacted in the past, we're going to have them scheduled in our CRM, our customer relationship management software. We're going to have them scheduled, and we're going to do follow-up. We're going to send out emails. We're going to make phone calls. We're going to handwrite letters even. We're going to take time to follow up with the people that we've talked with, and even those who are not just ready to buy yet, that they're not going to end up on a sales call in the next week or two, but we still want to stay in touch with them, to be top of mind, because we never know when they're going to be ready to have that sales conversation. Your next time block is going to be dedicated to promotion. This is advertising, this is marketing, creating content. These are all the activities that are going to make your market aware of your existence and get them to want to have a sales conversation with you. It's going to get them to want to engage with you, from opting into your email list, to get onto a webinar, to enter your sales funnel, to actually engage in a meaningful conversation with you. That's what the next hour to 2 hours is dedicated to. But Tim, when do I do any work? Well, this is the work. This is the work of growing a company. You need to do these things first. If you don't, all kinds of fires, all kinds of other priorities from other people will interfere with you building your company. So this is why, for your calendar, not necessarily your team's, but for your calendar, it starts off with sales and then marketing before you dive into any work that your company needs done. Your next time block, which may only be about an hour, possibly 2, depending on how big your team is, you're going to work with your team to find out, what do they need? How are they doing? Do they need training? Do they need to be coached on how to do their job better? How to handle a client issue? Or how to handle a coworker issue? This is when you're going to engage with your team. And I'm not saying you do this 1 hour and you try to talk to every single person on your team every single day, which you may do, but this 1 hour is to make sure everybody has what they need. So on one day, you may talk to 1 or 2 people, and next day you might talk to 1 to 5 people. You don't have to schedule even numbers of conversations with your team every single day, Monday through Friday. You don't have to do that. You just need to talk to the people when they need it. And so that means you have to communicate on a regular basis. So block out about an hour, maybe 2, to communicate with your team. Now the next 2 to 3 hours is going to be dedicated to the work you have to do. This may be, depending on your size, project management. It may be actual client work. You may actually have to sit down and do labor for a client. For me, I'll do a coaching call or I'll do a consulting engagement, but I block out this time so that I can work directly with my clients. That's what I have to do. For you, you may be doing project management and your team are the ones who are engaged with your clients. Your final time block, this could be a half hour to an hour, is going to be dedicated to wrapping up the day. We want to put a bow on that thing. We want to make sure that the day is done. Because if we don't do this, what happens is we end up staying longer because we're trying to get everything done, or we go home and we start thinking about all the things that didn't get done. We start thinking about what needs to be done tomorrow. So why not set aside 30 minutes to an hour to send out the emails that you need to send out, to plan out what you're going to do the first thing when you walk in your office tomorrow. Make sure all these things are planned out so that you can just empty your brain and not have to be dwelling on your business when you should be engaged with your friends and your family and your community. Now I want you to do this with your team. They're not going to have the same time blocks as you. They're going to have their own. They're going to have time blocks for meeting with other team members. They're going to have time blocks for meeting with clients. They're going to have time blocks for doing client work. They're going to have time blocks for their administrative tasks. They're going to have a block set aside for continuing education so they keep getting better at their jobs. They're going to have these things blocked out. Some of them are not going to happen every single week. Some of them are going to happen maybe once a month or once every couple of months. But they need to sit down and block their day also. One of the biggest problems that I've seen over the last 2 decades of working with my clients is that their team members are allowed to just switch from task to task to task, and they just take forever to get anything done. That's because we lose about 20 minutes of productivity every time we switch from one activity to another activity. We end up losing a significant amount of concentration, and that adds up. If you do 4 or 5 different task switching in a day, well, that's over an hour to 2, maybe even 3 hours of just lost mental space of switching back and forth. The reality is most of the people working for you and even yourself are switching tasks every 10 to 20 minutes. And that is losing you another 20 minutes in productivity every single time you do it. So that's why most of the time you feel super busy, yet not much got done. So if you start using the time blocking and really dedicate to it, not just for yourself, but for your team too, you're going to become very efficient and hyper effective. That's what productivity is all about. I hope you got productive value out of this video, and if you did, I want you to efficiently and effectively like, subscribe, share, and do all the socials, and I'll see you in the next video.